It's relief. Most of the time I'll exhale and do like a nice fist bump, but just the tension was so high at that point that I couldn't really muster up an immediate fist pump, but it was mostly an exhale. And then as the clock winds down, you start to get excited and just kind of think, holy shit, that was one of the craziest games I can ever remember watching. And they came out on top, and they're hosting the NFC Championship game. So then you kind of get into the excitement. It's the playoffs, survive, advance.
Sports and culture all in one. Catch the fire, feel the fun. Andrew Sistad, glad unite. Philly and Y in the spotlight.
Hey everyone, welcome to episode 23. I am wearing green. Sistad is doubling down on his Philadelphia Eagles. The hat, the hoodie, the head nod. The Philadelphia Eagles are on their way to the NFC title game. 1 win away from the Super Bowl, 2 wins away from your second championship as a fan. First off, congrats on the win. Awesome win. Take us through it. Walk us through your emotions first off watching that game. I know you weren't watching live. You had it recorded. Watching that game, take us through your emotions as that game's unfolding. First half, second half, crazy weather, snowstorm, Barkley's crazy touchdown run, 78 yards. Eagles look like they got in the bag, and they almost choke it away. And then at the end, Jalen Carter plays hero. So take us through your emotions throughout that game first.
Yes, so first off, thank you. Congrats to you too, because I assume you bet on the game. And
I'm
you
a bigger
don't
Eagles
have
fan than you these days.
Yeah, and you won't have a miserable podcast partner for at least one more episode here, so that's great. But as far as emotions go, yeah, let's hope so. As far as emotions go, part of me kind of felt like this is a Philadelphia Eagles game. I've been through this many times. The only difference is that obviously the stakes are as high as they could possibly be at this point in the season. So I've seen them get out to the hot start, leave some points on the board, let the other team, the lesser team, hang around and fight and scratch and claw back. And then all of a sudden, you've got a veteran quarterback who is in a 2-minute drill and he's just dicing you up and doing whatever he wants. So now we're holding on for dear life. So I've seen that movie before. It was very similar to the Washington game a few weeks ago, right? They obviously ended up losing that game, but same kind of situation. Eagles could have put them away at the end. They gave them the ball back. All of a sudden, you have a last-second drive that ends the game. Same thing with the Panthers game, except they were able to hold on in that game. The Jacksonville Jaguars game was very similar this year, where Nakobe Dean had the interception in the end zone. So again, the stakes were just so high, and it was just such an epic, like, blow for blow, like, all-time playoff games. I mean, you had the snow. Everybody loves a good snow game, so you had that factored in. Oh, come on. Everybody loves a good snow game.
No, I've been hearing a lot of people complaining about it.
Really? I'm sure that some of the players don't like it, which they were.
If you're not used to playing in the cold weather your whole life, like high school, college,
right,
NFL, then you probably don't like it.
Yeah.
But anyway, so keep going.
Yeah, it's just a different atmosphere. But yeah, I mean, all-time playoff game. Again, they had to make it a little bit more interesting than I would have liked to, but I mean, some of the performances that you got from some of the guys, Saquon and Jalen Carter, the MVPs of the game, and just a real crazy, I'm sure we'll get into like in-depth stuff, but just emotionally unbelievable twist and turn, just so many ups and downs, and they end up pulling it out, and you could finally exhale at the very end of the game.
What kind of cop-out answer is that, dude? Come on. So what did you think Saquon scores that touchdown? You exhaled, you relaxed, you probably were fired up. You thought absolutely thought it wasn't over But you were pretty comfortable at that point, right?
Pretty comfortable at that point. Again, yes, pretty comfortable at that point. And then, yeah, they for as good as the defense has been, they struggle with this 2 minute situation at the very end of the games. I just gave you a good amount of examples. So yeah, they get the Rams come down and score, and you're still feeling pretty good because you get the ball back. And the Eagles have been really good in like that 4 minute offense to close out games this year. Against the Steelers, they put together a 10.5 minute drive. So still feeling pretty good. And then, obviously the last drive happens. Everyone's favorite wide receiver makes an unbelievable catch on the right sideline. And I'm just like, at this point, I'm feeling the dread come on. And they just, I'm down very bad at this point. I'm thinking all of the worst things.
And you're probably thinking at that point, all the things that happened throughout the game that caused them to lose this game, your mind's going there, like the Hurts, safety, all that.
Yeah, there was. It's so funny because there was so many instances in this game where, like, had they lost, there was a million like little things that you could have pointed to and said, "Oh, well, if only they had done this, if only they had done that." So there's two ways to look at it.
Jake Elliott didn't miss 2 extra points. If Jalen Hurts didn't take that sack in the end zone for the safety.
Right, exactly. Yes. If AJ Brown doesn't drop the 2 balls that he dropped, do you want to know? Do you want to know an interesting fact?
I do. I love facts.
Tell me. Well, I'll have you guess. So, how many balls do you think AJ Brown had dropped up until this point of the season, regular season and playoffs?
I'd say 3.
0. He had 0 drops this year in the regular season and the playoffs.
Can you confirm that watching it? Sometimes the scorers give like a guy a benefit of the doubt on drops.
So I don't recall him dropping one, but his official stat, his official record this year was 0 drops.
0. That's crazy.
And he had 2 yesterday.
But it's understandable. This wasn't a normal football game. I mean,
sure. The one in the first half, I don't think it was too bad, the conditions yet. But I mean,
I don't think they were that bad. Yeah,
it's a really good throw by Hurts, and they would have had 1st and goal at like the 1, and he just dropped it. And look, he's been great for them all year. Obviously, he's allowed to drop a ball or 2, especially like you said in such slick conditions. But again, just a lot of these little tiny things add up to where, had they lost, you could see like, damn, well, if only this had gone their way, if only that had gone their way, but they were able to pull it out in the end.
But is it so is this is where your mind's going a little bit as the Rams are driving down to win the game, essentially?
No, it's not. It's basically just like dread and holy shit, it's happening, and maybe we'll have enough time to get a field goal, but the conditions are so bad, and Elliott's been so bad anyway that we're going to miss the field goal, and Hurts is on one leg, and it's essentially it's over. I mean, when they are driving like that, I'm thinking it's over. I'm thinking, God damn, like everything had broke their way. Every opponent that they faced so far, the Packers were who you wanted to play in the first round. Then you get the Rams, who we wanted to play after that, and then the night before, obviously, Washington takes down Detroit. So the winner of this game is hosting the NFC Championship game. And it's all, again, everything's breaking their way. And just to feel
like the Yankees run to the World Series.
Right. But just to feel it, slipping through your fingertips was exhausting. And it was terrifying. So, but again, part of me is like me, you got to give them the benefit of the doubt, because when they've been in this situation several times this year, a lot of times they came through. So in this case, it was Jalen Carter who made the 2 biggest plays of the day, and they ended up somehow holding on and sealing the win. But that last sack that he had on 3rd and 2, some people have been pointing out on Twitter, like, if he doesn't get that sack, the defender who was covering Higbee fell down, and Higbee was wide open running across the middle of the field, and he probably scores if Stafford hits him. But, I mean, obviously Carter was able to just get back there, knock him back, 9 yards, and then he forced the hurry on the 4th and 11 to end the game. Yep. So the best thing about that, I don't know how specific you want to get right now, if you still want to talk emotion, but
I want to hear about your reaction on the final play. Oh well, not obviously not the kneel down. The
Yeah,
whatever throw that was by Stafford.
it's relief. It is relief, and
You're like not like you're not. Are you standing up? What do you? What's your
yeah.
situation?
So I'm standing up, and basically we'll just do like a big exhale. Most of the time I'll exhale and do like a nice fist bump, but just the tension was so high at that point that I couldn't really muster up an immediate fist pump. But it was mostly an exhale, and then as as the clock winds down, you start to get excited and just kind of think, holy shit, that was one of the craziest games I can ever remember watching, and they came out on top, and they're hosting the NFC Championship game. So then you kind of get into the
Yeah.
excitement and a little bit more about there's some things to be concerned about from this game, but
No,
like we
don't do
said
that, Nick.
last
Come
week,
on.
man, just no, I mean injury wise, but yeah, it's the playoffs, survive, advance,
Yeah,
and
I've seen a lot of people. I've seen this. I was looking on Twitter and I was seeing some stuff what Eagles fans were saying, and like all these, and not just Eagles fans, people that like Giants fans, are the people that hate the Eagles, saying how like, oh, they're just lucky, they're not even good. They like, in order to win a championship in professional sports, to go on a championship run, you need to win big games like this. Like you need to win games that they don't look great, just find a way to win. That should not be a knock. That's what, and you need some luck, and you need bounces. Like that's part of going on a championship run. There's nothing wrong with winning a game and getting help by the weather. You have home field because you earned it in the regular season. There's nothing wrong with
exactly.
that.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. Yeah, sometimes you're gonna have these games where you don't look great and you pull it out. I'm reminded. So it's funny. In 2022, the Eagles run to the Super Bowl. Obviously, they lost in the Super Bowl, but the two games leading up to the Super Bowl were pretty much cakewalks. I mean, they had the Giants come to Philadelphia in the division round and
That was
beat
a
the ever living
yeah.
shit out of them, and it was amazing. And then the 49ers, the next game, were down to their Christian McCaffrey was playing quarterback for them by the end of the game. So two easy games. So, but before that, this game reminded me a lot of in 2017, the year they won the Super Bowl. There was the first game that they had was against the Atlanta Falcons. It was the Saturday afternoon game, and they won the game 15-10. And same thing, they kind of missed a lot of opportunities, couple fumbles here. They had like the luckiest play I'd ever seen happen to the Eagles happened in that game. It was insane. Right before the end of the half, Nick Foles sails a ball like 30 yards downfield. It bounced off a cornerback's knee, like totally ricocheted back like 10 yards, and Torrey Smith happened to be there. He caught it, ran another 10 yards, and the Eagles got a field goal as time expired in the first half. And again, they ended up only winning the game by 5 points. So, but in that game, you had Matt Ryan at the goal line, 4th and goal, and he misses Julio Jones, who was kind of open in the end zone. So same kind of feel. But again, they won the Super Bowl that year, and the next week they came out and they looked really good in the NFC Championship game. So it's just survive and advance.
100%.
The only thing, again, my big concerns coming out of this game are the injuries. So we can talk about that in a little bit, or
Well,
if you want to talk individual
we'll just get to it
performances and
right now.
stuff.
We'll just get to the injuries right now. You already brought it up. Quinyon Mitchell is apparently, he says he's okay. I mean, shoulder injury. I mean, he says he's okay, so seems like he's playing, right?
I hope so.
Hopefully he plays well.
Yeah, kind of feels like it's 50-50. The good thing is that it's not like it's not like a leg or ankle injury. So, as far as keeping like being able to keep up with guys and make up speed and things like that, he should be okay. But he's been so damn good for them this year, and they're really going to need him against Washington because Slay had a really good game, but he has struggled with McLaurin in the past. So
no, you definitely need Mitchell. I agree.
Yeah. So that's that, and obviously the Hurts injury was really good. Is really big. He did not look well after taking that shot to the knee, and some of the play calls I just thought were so odd after that. The safety specifically, like that play call really made me scratch my head. I mean, he could not move. He was clearly compromised. He played very poorly after he hit his knee.
Yeah, he didn't look good after the injury. That's a concern going forward, though. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I think one thing to focus on, though, is the Eagles can win without, they can advance to the Super Bowl without Hurts doing much. I think that's pretty much been proven at this point. That doesn't mean it's ideal. It doesn't mean you want to have your quarterback out there, especially a dual threat quarterback like Hurts, be able to run. The other issue, we'll get into Hurts in general, but I know we're going to focus on the injuries. What other injury is there anyway? Mitchell, Hurts.
It's Quinyon and Hurts. Yeah, those are the two who got hurt. Yep.
Those are the big ones. I also saw post game, Hurts was asked about like the injury, like, "Oh, how bad is it?" And he was like, "Oh, well, I finished the game."
Yeah, that's a pretty typical Hurts response. But not good. It's not. Yes, you're right that they don't need him to throw for 300 yards as we've established, but they need his legs as a threat. Just because it opens up so much in the running game specifically, they do so many of the RPO that it really takes an element away from their offense. So man, it really, really sucks because even if he's at 80%, like just that extra half a step slower that
I agree.
That he would be a real game changer. I mean, you saw it on the first drive. That first touchdown run was amazing. The strength to be able to break a tackle and then the speed to pull away from the secondary and the defense was huge, and it really set the tone for the rest of the game. So
I agree, and I think he did have, before, like you said, before the injury, he did have some good moments in the first half. It's a concern for sure. I'd be more concerned about that than the Quinyon Mitchell, because I think based on what everyone's saying at post game, it seems like he's going to be good to go.
I hope so. Yeah. It's really big. You know, it's funny, last week when we were talking about the Nakobe Dean injury, we were like, well, at least it's not somebody like Quinyon or like, so
Quinyon and Jalen Carter.
We jinxed them. But yeah, we'll see what happens. I mean, I would be shocked if Hurts, I'm sure Hurts will play. It's just going to be a matter of how effective he's going to be. But the Quinyon thing is something that we're going to have to keep an eye on.
All right, let's talk some positive stuff. Saquon Barkley. Dude,
he did it
again. This guy, you must love this guy.
He did it again. He's the best. He's the best Eagles player. Dude. Like, this is the best Eagles season I've ever seen from
that shit. The thing he did on that 78-yard touchdown run is like straight out of like a TV, like a high school football TV series, where he says something to Hurts, like, I'll give you the ball, I'm going all the way. Like, it's like one of those shows, have you seen All American?
I have not, no. But
Friday
Night Lights type.
Friday Night Lights, yeah. And any sort of like, I don't want to get too much into this, but any sort of like high school drama, if it has sports in it, I'll actually watch it. Like some sort of show. Yeah, have sports, I'm interested. And I'll just like fast forward through all like the stupid drama, like teen stuff.
Oh my gosh. Of course.
But yeah, Saquon 26 for 205, 2 touchdowns, a 78-yarder, and a 62-yarder.
Mm-hmm.
5 rushing touchdowns this season of 60 plus.
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty remarkable.
4 of them against the Rams.
4 of them against the Rams.
Just don't forget that huge game that he had earlier in the year. His career high was against the Rams. He put up 255 in that game.
I saw something like, I forgot the exact stat, but I wish I like screenshotted it, but I didn't. So like, I think running backs that ran for 200 plus yards against a team and then faced that team in the playoffs, it's happened like 5 or 6 times, something like that. None of them rushed for like over 80 yards in that playoff game.
Oh, wow.
So basically, like, the team, it's a small sample size. I wouldn't make too much of it. But basically, you get embarrassed, just destroyed by this running back. You're going to make sure your game plan is to stop that guy.
Mm-hmm.
And they're playing in the snow, and obviously they're going to run the ball, and they couldn't stop.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So he's amazing. That cut on that play,
incredible performance.
He's the only one that was able to cut, and like run like normal.
I know. He was great, man. He's putting together an all-time season. I think he's very close to breaking the all-time rushing record for regular season and playoffs.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. What is he? He's well over like he's over like 2,100 or something like that, or 2,300. I don't know,
Yeah,
something like that.
he's probably he's got to be over. He had like just over 2,000 yards to start the year, and he's got probably another
Start the playoffs.
350 yards. Yeah, so he's probably close to
Would have
2,400
been
yards right
crazy if he
now.
had 2,000 yards to start the year.
Yeah. Yep.
He's incredible. I saw that one last thing on him, at least from my perspective. That if you want to add something, but I saw that he like talked to Shady McCoy about like playing in the snow,
Yeah.
and like Shady was like, just trust your cuts,
Mm-hmm.
and then you see that 78-yard run where he
trusted his cuts.
he's incredible.
Yeah.
Giants fans must be so pissed.
Yes. Yeah. There's some
That
really
must make you
good,
even happier.
just like memes and videos going around about it. So yeah, all-time game, all-time performance, all-time season. The guy's amazing, man. Obviously, like that's one thing that makes me feel a little bit confident, even though I am pretty worried, which we'll touch on later. I am worried about the next game, but you got a good defense, and you got this guy. Like all he has to do is bust 2 runs like that, and like it's such a game changer. So yeah, I'm excited, man. I'm super happy for him. He seems like a great dude. The teammates love him, and he's just a monster, dude. Like this guy is he's so big and fast. It's like, how is this guy who's just a tank like outrunning the entire team? So a lot of fun to watch. Yeah, it's a lot of fun to watch.
The rest of the offense, I wouldn't make too much of it. I think AJ Brown even said that post game. Like the snow was crazy. The offensive line wasn't great, but it's really tough for the offensive line in those conditions. The one thing that I think is now, again, survive in advance. Who really cares about what's going wrong? You win the game. The one thing I've noticed a negative about Jalen Hurts, outside of now the knee injury may have had an impact. You talked last week, maybe the concussion coming back off that made him a little bit more hesitant, but he is just taking sacks at a way too high of a ratio. He was hurried 13 times in this game. He was sacked 7. That's a 54%. They call it P2S, passer to sack ratio.
Mm-hmm.
The league average this year, 25%. He was at 54% in this game. So he's not getting rid of the ball. That safety was bad.
Yeah. So, and again, another thing I kind of feel like it goes into the play calling a little bit. It seems like they don't have these like really quick like outlets,
especially in that weather. That's like the way to get rid of the ball quickly.
Yeah, it's very odd. It seems like a lot of the route concepts are just long and slow developing. So you'll see like they can do it. Like I think one of the 2 catches that AJ had was on a 4th and 4, and it was just a quick slant, boom, and it was a very easy pitch and catch.
That was a big play.
Yeah, it was huge. But yeah, I think some of the play calling is weird. Listen, he's absolutely holding onto the ball for too long in some circumstances, but I was very impressed by the Rams defensive line. I thought they were like really good. It's pretty rare that you see. Again, I'm sure the snow had something to do with it, but
it had a lot to do with it.
Pretty rare that you see the Eagles offensive line get pushed around like that. So
yeah, and I wouldn't expect that to happen next week or going forward.
Agreed. But yeah, no, he's got to clean that up. The knee does not help. And I just think it was a weird game. Weird from the snow was obviously insane. But the biggest thing about the game that I will continue to harp on: no turnovers for the guy. He's still protecting the ball. He might be taking sacks. A sack is better than a lost fumble, and a sack is better than an interception. Sure.
I don't know. It may not be technically considered this. Taking a safety, a sack for a safety is a turnover.
I don't think it is, but yeah, that was just, again, such a bad, terrible.
It's a 2-point play for the other team, and they get the ball. To me, that's a turnover.
It's worse than
semantics,
a turnover, but yeah, that was a horrible play. But again, why are you? It was 2nd and 6 from the 8.
Why put him in that spot, especially if his knees hurt?
Especially if his knees hurt. Yeah, and like again, just give it to Barkley one more time, and if he doesn't get it, then do like a quick slant or something. But yeah, just inexcusable. Yeah, he's got to clean that up. And again, it's all going to depend on this knee, because we know he can sit back and throw it. We've seen him do it. They have the talent to do it. It's just going to be a matter of putting together a good game plan on how to attack Washington's defense, and I think they can do it. Another good game from Goddard, so that's always good to see. He's at a really good, he's been, aside from Saquon, he's been the best player on their offense throughout the first couple of rounds here.
Yep.
So that's really nice to see. Even if somehow they're figuring out a way to shut down AJ and Devontae, you still have Goddard, you still have Saquon, and you're still a dangerous team.
Yeah, I mean, that's what you get when you have a GM, Howie Roseman, that built just such a well-balanced, high-skilled roster. You have it on all three levels on defense. You have it at the running back position, the quarterback position, the receivers, tight ends on offense. That offense, if I was going to sum up this offense, I would say it was pretty much three plays. 2 big Saquon runs and that big Jalen Hurts run. And that was the vast majority of the offense.
Yeah, totally. One Goddard catch and run was pretty nice, but that was just because his defender fell down. But yeah, I mean that's the difference in these playoff games, man. They're so tight, and one mistake can really cost you, which is why the lack of turnovers is so big.
It's big. Yeah, I agree. And not turning the ball over. You see, like in the other games, Lamar Jackson fumbling and turning the ball over in bad weather.
Mm-hmm.
So that is huge. I agree. Big compliment to Hurts is he's not turning the ball over, and if he's not playing well.
Mm-hmm.
Anything else on the offense? You want to talk about the defense?
We can talk defense, man. Love talking defense.
Dude, this defense is awesome. I mean, as an Eagles fan, I know you. We talked about it last week. You have to be so excited. It's so fun to have such a dominant defense. I know they gave up points, gave up yards. They gave up over 300 passing yards, but they didn't dominate this game. But they still played really well. Jalen Carter, just unbelievable. We talked about it already on those 2 plays.
How much more can we say about Jalen Carter, man? He's just so impressive. He gets double teamed.
Was this the best game of his career?
This was certainly up there. I would say it was, given the stakes, given the situation, given the other team that you were playing. Just wildly impressive, man. That sack he had on Stafford was, like we said before, it was huge. But the biggest thing, so you might not even know this, like kind of not being an Eagles fan, but so last year was his rookie year, and last year, his rookie year, he gets drafted 9th overall. He falls in the draft because he had some off the field issues. So, a lot of people were saying he's the best player in the draft. Obviously, draft expert me, I liked the guy. I personally liked the right guard from Arkansas, but whatever. Nobody watches more SEC offensive line tape than me. So anyway, Carter falls to number 9.
We get your point. We know. You don't follow college football. You think people that act like they know how these guys are going to be are ridiculous. I agree.
They're the worst.
All right,
they're the worst.
Make your point about Jalen Carter, dude. Come on.
So Carter comes out of the gate last year, his rookie season, and is amazing. Like first half of the year, he's one of the best players on the defense already. He's wrecking games. Basically what he's doing now, he was just doing in the first 7-8 games of his career very consistently. And then he completely disappeared for the second half of the year. And what, the reports and what you read is that he hit that quote unquote rookie wall, right? So he wasn't conditioned well enough. Young kids' bodies just aren't used to being able to take the beating of a full NFL season like that. So conditioning wasn't great. Ended up not having a very good second half of the year. Comes back this year in really good shape. And like what's noteworthy about him now is that he plays almost every single snap. And the 2 biggest plays,
2 snaps yesterday. That's it.
Yeah,
it was 2 snaps on defense yesterday.
For a defensive lineman, and the guy who made the biggest play of the game late in the fourth quarter was Jalen Carter. So
the 2 biggest plays.
The 2 biggest, right? Exactly. He also had he had the forced fumble on Kyren Williams. I don't think that was the fourth quarter yet, but still, just
that was the
all
third
over
quarter.
The field.
He was for a field goal.
Yeah, absolute menace. He's insane, man. He opens everything up for his fellow interior defensive linemen, and he's just awesome. And he's a really fun player to root for. And the rest of the defensive line had a pretty good game too. Moro Ajamo got in there for a sack. Nolan Smith had the strip of Matt Stafford. So really good game. Zach Bond, another excellent game. I thought Slay had an awesome game. He must have had like 3 or 4 passes defensed. Almost had an interception. So really, really good game from him. Good tackling. I thought they didn't really leave too much meat on the bone as far as tackling goes. But the most impressive thing about this defense is, like you said, the reason why I feel so confident in them is because they can play at all three levels, like you've said. So defensive line's really good. Linebackers are really good. The guy Oren Burks had a really good game yesterday. The one, N'Kobe Dean's substitute, had a couple really nice plays, had a tackle for loss,
deflection.
had a huge pass deflection in the fourth quarter. So pretty good game by him. And the secondary is really good. And the difference between this team and the team that lost the Super Bowl in 2022 is that defense was also really good, but they were pretty much all defensive line. Their defensive line was so good that year. They almost they almost broke the sack record. I think they were like 3 or 4 behind the 85 Bears. So they were really good, but they weren't really good in the back seven. So, Super Bowl, they got pretty much picked apart. They couldn't get their pass rush going. And Mahomes just sat back and ate them up. So now you have to have a lot more confidence just with, the way the linebackers play, the way the secondary plays, barring a Quignon injury. And they're really set up for success, man. So it's pretty exciting. They're just a fun defense to watch, and they have a pretty big challenge coming up for them next week.
Yeah, we're gonna get in next week. We're actually gonna. This is a good chance to plug our NFC title game preview episode. That'll be out on Thursday. So if you're checking this out right now, make sure to check that out as well on Thursday as we preview Eagles Commanders. It's gonna be fun. We're gonna have a Commanders diehard fan on with us to give the Commanders perspective, at least for you Eagles fans, so you can know what to watch out for, what to look out for. Okay.
Oh,
YouTube's not going to like us now.
I was going to say, I'm not supposed to say that. Yeah. Screw that guy.
Jake Elliott.
I'm
going to give him a pass on the second missed extra point. Are you cool with that because of the weather?
I'm cool with that. Yeah.
Okay. The first one was awful. You can't be missing extra points in playoff games. You can't do that.
Can't be missing extra. Yeah. I mean, those 2 points could have really cost them. Really cost them.
I'm going to give him credit for hitting some field goals in that crazy snow and that terrible weather. That could have cost them. So I feel like, you tell me how you feel about him, but I feel like don't come away with that game that upset and worried about him.
Yeah, that's kind of been the Jake Elliott experience this year. Even though, there's been games, 1 or 2 games he was just awful, but there has been games where he's missed an extra point, but then he's made a clutch 48-yarder, to win the game for him. And that was, again, you got the full experience of that yesterday. So yeah, he misses 2 extra points that could have been huge, but he also hit 3 other field goals in really tough conditions, including one. One of them was pretty far. One of them, I think, was a 44-yarder. So yeah, just give us the extra points, man. You can do it.
It's not going for 2.
But that was my concern, heading into the playoffs was Jake Elliott.
I think we had a subscriber question. What are your concerns? And that was one of your answers. Yeah.
That was my number one answer, I think. So we'll see. Like you said, it was you have a great
team if your number one concern is the kicker.
Yeah.
It's a legitimate concern, but the team's great.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So awesome win. Congrats, man.
Thanks,
next
man.
week, Commanders NFC title game. Big stuff. This is unbelievable.
This is great.
The joke that you make towards me and other Yankee fans, how they roll out of bed and they're in the ALCS. The Eagles roll out of bed and they're in the NFC title game.
Yeah. I mean, 2 out of 3 years. I wouldn't call it quite Yankee-esque yet, but the difference between me and Yankees fans is that I'm grateful and I'm having a lot of fun.
But not me. I'm grateful.
Yeah. Well, most Yankees fans.
You're not. Come on. You're having a lot of fun.
I am. Yes, I'm so happy and grateful that they're doing well.
I'm going to give you credit, man. You're doing a really. I would like. Can we watch one of these games together? What are you doing for the Commanders game? You're going to be watching it not live, right? You have to record it because it's not the 3:00 start.
I'm gonna have to record that one, but Super Bowl I'll be watching live.
Are you sure you're going to have to record
obviously, that? If they make it, I'm sure. Yes.
You may have somewhere to be though.
What, for the Super Bowl?
No, for the game, for the Commanders game, NFC Championship game.
I may. You would not want to watch the game with me, dude.
No, I really do.
No, you would not.
I really do. I really do for the podcast even more. Why not? Why wouldn't I? Are you that angry? What are you? Are you like not like sociable?
I'm not super. It depends. No, if it's really,
I wouldn't
tense,
be giving you a hard time. I wouldn't be rooting. I would be rooting with you. I wouldn't watch you root against you. I wouldn't do that.
Yeah. Okay. All right. I'll give you an Eagles jersey you can put on.
I would put an Eagles jersey on for you. Sure.
You would?
I don't care.
You wouldn't even put a Jets jersey on.
I would wear any. I don't care. Give me a shirt. I actually don't like jerseys. Yeah. Like shirts. I don't really like jerseys. But anyway, Eagles on their way to the NFC Championship game. Sistad is 2 wins away from experiencing his second Super Bowl.
God, don't even say it, man.
Oh,
don't even say it.
I'm excited. All right.
Yeah.
Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe. Give us a like. And we'll see you next time.
Sports and culture all in one. Catch the fire, feel the fun.